Leo Cloutier is sponsored by Poster Fix, where we bring your vintage posters back to life.
Howdy, everybody. This is Leo Cloutier with Malice to It None. It's indeed a pleasure to have as our guest here today one of the young pitching greats in the American League, now with the California Angels. I'd like to welcome to our show Nolan Ryan. Welcome, Nolan.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
Well, Nolan, certainly it's a pleasure to have you as our guest here today. Nolan, on the heels of a tremendous performance against the Boston Red Sox in Anaheim recently, a one-hitter. That was not your first one-hitter. You had another one-hitter previous to that, didn't you?
That's right. I had it in 70 against Philadelphia. It was early in the year, and it came pretty much as that one did. I gave up the hit in the first inning. In fact, the one against Philadelphia was the leadoff hitter of the game.
Nolan, you've had some tremendous streaks with that great pitching arm of yours. You struck out 493 batters in 510 innings while pitching for the Mets. That's practically a strikeout an inning. Is this something you try for all the time that you throw, or did you just happen to have the strikeout pitch?
Well, I don't really try for it. In very few situations do I try to strike people out, but it just happened to come in the National League. I think some of it due to my wildness and the fact that I got quite a few when I was young over there, and it's just maybe being a fastball pitcher, I think you have a tendency to have a few more than, say, maybe somebody that throws a lot of breaking pitches.
Nolan, striking out batters is not anything new for you. When you were in the minor leagues, you had one particular game where you struck out 19 and another one that you struck out 21 against Pawtucket. Was that a 9-inning game? Hope so.
No, the 21 was a 9 2/3 inning game, and that particular game we lost 2-1 or 2-0. I'm not sure. And in both cases, they stole home to get their 2 runs, once off me and then once off the shortstop.
And both of the runners that scored were not earned runs. They were got on as the result of errors, if I recall correctly.
I believe that was the situation. That was several years back, so I don't really recall the exact situations.
When did you break into the majors?
I originally appeared in the majors in '66. That was end of my first full season in professional ball, and then in '67 I came back at the end of the year after an arm injury, and then my rookie year was really '68.
And then you got into a World Series and got that World Series ring and the World Series check in '69.
That's right. That was a fantastic year for me on the Mets, and it was something that, as a young ball player, you just more or less dreamed about and didn't expect to happen. And it happened early in my career, and I'm quite thankful that I have the experience and have gone through such a thrilling series.
Nolan, was it in '70 that you pitched 3 straight games and you pitched a 1-hitter, a 2-hitter, and then a 3-hitter?
Yes, and that early in '70, I pitched a 1-hitter against Philadelphia, and then I went out and pitched against Los Angeles and got beat on a 2-hitter, and 4 days later I pitched against the Giants and beat them on a 3-hitter.
And that 16 strikeout performance that you registered at the expense of the Boston Red Sox recently was the second time that you achieved that total in the major leagues. The other time was against who?
Well, that was the second time this year. I did it against Oakland about 8 days earlier, and then last year I struck out 16 against San Diego, so really it was my third time to strike out 16.
That last appearance against the Boston Red Sox when you struck out 16, did you feel that was a night that nothing could stop you? You seemed to pitch that way.
Well, I think that there were a lot of factors involved. I had an exceptionally good fastball and had a good curveball. I was getting the ball over probably better than I have most of the year, and also it was a 6 o'clock game, so it may have been a little harder for the hitters to see in the early innings, and I think all these factors involved helped put that game together.
Nolan, you have quite a habit, which is a wonderful habit, of running off the mound and running to the mound. Is this something you developed as a youngster?
No, not really. I think that Bobby Winkles, our coach over here, has had a big influence on everybody trying to hustle a little more and putting a little more pep in the game. I think that it helps us be a little more aggressive, and once you get used to it and more or less enjoy it, and you feel like you stay loose maybe a little better.
Nolan, how about, is there any particular club against whom you'd rather pitch?
Well, not really. I think over in the National League I had a few that I preferred pitching against, but I don't think I've been in the American League long enough to really establish the type of rhythm or something where you feel more comfortable pitching against a club than say others.
How about your ball club? Do you think it's going to be one that's going to develop into contention pretty soon? It's a solid club with youngsters.
Well, I think so. We have a lot of youth here. We've had some key injuries. I think one of them is Andy Messerschmidt. You take a 20-game winner away from a club that hadn't got a lot of power hitters, and you're really hurting the club. And I think he has made a big difference. I think once he comes back, then we should be a little more respectable. And I think that we've had a couple of hitters that got started slow, and we do have a couple of gaps in our lineup. So it's several things involved, but I think that the nucleus is here for a good club.
Oh, one more question. What is probably the most memorable moment you've enjoyed in baseball in the few years that you've been in it so far?
Well, I think there's several. I think coming in relief and pitching 7 1/3 inning, 2/3 inning against Atlanta in the playoffs, and my World Series appearance. And then I think probably more than anything is setting American League consecutive strikeout record with 8. This is the type of thing that when I first did it didn't dawn on me, but then I look back at it and think about it being a record, American League record. That means that somebody like Feller or somebody else didn't do it. And when you think about them, you really think of them as great pitchers. And I think it's probably the greatest thing I've ever done in baseball.
I can imagine. Nolan, 25 years of age, is that your age?
That's right, I'm 25.
Tremendous career ahead.
Well, I hope so.
Nolan, I certainly want to thank you very much for this interview, and I want to wish you worlds of luck, and I hope that the next time you pitch, you strike out 27 men in a row.
Well, I'd just like to win. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nolan. This was an interview with Nolan Ryan, a star right-handed pitcher of the California Angels. Strikeout, this is the American League, and this brings us to the end of what matters to it. And for today, until tomorrow, at this same time from Fenway Park, Leo Cloutier, good day.
Please subscribe and hit the notification bell to get more classic sports interviews from Leo Cloutier with malice toward none. Brought to you by Poster Fix, where we bring your vintage posters back to life.